darlings, you have found Get On With the Story with David Warner, the podcast where perfectly ordinary disasters happen to perfectly ordinary people. I'm Talia, your divine muse of comedy and full-time sarcasm supplier. Your host, David Warner, will valiantly narrate the mayhem, and I'll make sure it's actually funny. Now, let's get on with the story. Here's David.
Hello there, wanderers of the airwaves. I'm David Warner, and you've just tuned in to the premiere episode of my podcast, Get On With the Story. I could wrap up this podcast description in one neat little sentence, but honestly, where's the fun in that? You'll get the picture soon enough. Besides, I've been told I talk too much, according to my wife. Now, you're probably wondering, wait, does he actually sound like this in real life? Geez, yes, always. And trust me, I've seen the faces. Some people freeze like they've just witnessed a bank heist. Others do that slow motion double take, like their brain just heard the opening credits to their own personal sitcom. And I keep going. Because why? Because the joke's always on them. They think I'm doing a bit. So here's to all the double takers, to every raised eyebrow, every silent, "what is this?" in Walmart. Especially when I do my impression of that Christmas classic, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch." That's right. Keep looking, because I'm not stopping. I was born with a vocal booth in my throat and a laugh track in my chest. And hey, next time someone stares, I just wink. They won't know what to do with that either. This show is about stories. Real ones from history, strange ones from fiction, weird little curiosities I've tripped over through the years. All served with a big old twist of sarcasm, just enough humor to keep you smirking. I call it curated curiosity. The odd, fascinating bits that snagged my attention and now, fingers crossed, will snag yours too. But it's also more personal than that. You'll also hear threads of my own story, helping family navigate mental health storms, wrestling with my own, kicking off married life full of fireworks and big dreams, then shifting into full-time caregiver mode for my wife. Through every twist, humor's been my life raft and optimism my compass. If even one tale here lifts your spirits, sparks a laugh, or lingers in your mind, mission accomplished. So yes, you've signed up for a semi-serious, tongue-in-cheek romp through time, trivia, triumphs, tough stuff, and the gloriously absurd. My 3 big goals? 1. Entertain the daylights out of you. 2. Sneak in something that echoes long after the music and snickers fade. 3. Keep the funny flowing, because even when life gets heavy, there's always room for a grin. And if I ever start sounding like a TED Talk...
Yeah, that's my cue. Left to your own devices, David. You'd turn every episode into a motivational seminar with mood lighting.
Exactly. That's Talia keeping me honest. More about her later. I'm an unapologetic, card-carrying fanatic of old-time radio, the golden age when comedy, drama, and mystery crackled out of one lonely speaker and painted entire worlds inside your head. That's why I'm such a believer in the theater of the mind.
Listen to him, getting all misty-eyed over static and door creaks like it's the second coming. The theater of the mind. Love it. Nothing sexier than a guy who gets chills from mono sound effects. Just don't tell me you've named your vintage radio Bertha or something like that. That's where I draw the line.
You'll hear plenty more from her in a minute. Picture this. Before binge-watching Netflix marathons, before YouTube doom scrolls, before AI could spit out photorealistic dragons faster than you can say, scale texture. Get it? Storytellers had nothing but sound. A voice, music, a creaking door, footsteps on gravel, a distant train whistle, and somehow that was more than enough. Your imagination did the rest, built the sets, designed the costumes, dressed the actors, painted the epic landscapes in the background, lit the scenes in glorious technicolor, all inside your own skull. No glowing screens necessary, pure audio magic. Don't worry, I'm no video vanquisher or pixel puncher. I've spent over 45 years glued to computers, coding and creating for tiny startups and giant corporations alike. Started with floppy disks that sounded like furious bees buzzing in the hive, and modems that shrieked like banshees on a blind date. And reading my first email over dial-up.
You've got mail.
But I digress. See, I'm already doing it. I better get on with the story. There's something irresistible to me about handing the visuals over to you and letting your brain take the director's chair. That's the spirit we're bringing back. These stories are my love letter to those old radio yarn spinners, and yet spiked with heaps of modern sarcastic banter from my co-host and full-time troublemaker. Yep, that's Talia, the original Greek muse of comedy. Let me tell you how we met. Picture me, stalking the silent, shadowed stacks of an ancient library, exhuming long-abandoned manuscripts in my quest for podcast inspiration. The pages, yellowed and fragile, murmur beneath my fingertips. The leather covers groan like old bones. When at last I noticed this one volume glowing in the darkness, liberating it from its resting place, a cloud of forgotten dust falls from its cracked spine, as though a ghost had finally decided to stir. The book itself, stitched with faded silk, older than the fallen empires, felt almost alive in my hands. I opened it. Man, inside were jokes and tall tales. Not footnotes, not pretty metaphors, just jokes and tall tales. Sharp, ridiculous things whispered to playwrights and comedians at 3 a.m., so they'd wake up howling instead of crying. One page had a recipe, equal parts absurdity and heartbreak, simmered over the heat of an audience's laughter. And yet, scribbled in the margin, a scrawl from a forgotten author whispers, "She grants you the illusion that you wrote the story, but the pen, always hers to hold. Laugh now, darling, or spend eternity amused." As my fingertips traced that fevered warning, the dust began to rise again, like something in the room had just taken a breath. Talia, greet the good people.
Oh, thrilling. Finally, someone blew the dust off that ancient tome and sprung me from my eternal muse confinement. David, I was beginning to fear my forever would be an endless loop, listening to neurotic comedians endlessly tweaking callbacks and perfecting punchlines, while brooding poets moaned in perfect iambic pentameter about lost loves and wilted dreams. Lucky me. Now I get to sit beside you and reward you for freeing me by whispering perfectly timed comedic irony, blooming little twists of joy, and the occasional nudge to keep your stories thriving and your punchlines flourishing. Listeners, consider yourselves incredibly fortunate. I'm here to stay. And, David, your wife has nothing to worry about. I'm just a comedic muse wanting to sprinkle laughter into your days, not steal anyone away from hearth nor home. My only affairs are with comic masks, ivy wreaths, and the occasional divine duet. I bloom where inspiration is planted, and today it's planted right here with your podcast. Get on with the story. So let's make something hilarious and beautifully absurd together, shall we?
Here's how it works. I'll be spinning a tale, some wild historical nugget, personal confession, or glorious rabbit hole will tumble down together. And right on cue, Talia chimes in with a perfectly timed snarky retort, a playful jab, or that signature audio eye roll. Keeps me humble, keeps it fun. And yes, we're aiming for one episode a week, but knowing me, and my wife swears I never shut up, the number will probably creep up to more than once a week. And there you go. That's the concept, the outline, the whole mischievous plan. So, my dear listener, grab a comfy spot, dim the lights if you're feeling dramatic, let your imagination take the wheel, and let's finally get on with the story. One caveat. If you're driving, eyes on the road and ears on us. Multitasking rocks, but staying safe is non-negotiable.
This has been a production of Warner Electronic Systems team. Episodes conceived, curated, written, recorded, and edited by David Warner. Want more? Swing by westbase.com for show notes, extras, and whatever else David's cooked up. Sweet dreams, darlings. And remember, the true magic of the theater of the mind lies in the secret visions you alone bring to life. Talia out.